Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Oh, here you are, dear. I should have known you'd be fussing over the details for the party.
You know how much I like a good party. And after what happened at the last one, I just want everything to be perfect.
It will be, dear. Nobody knows how to throw a holly jolly good time like Santa, and everyone knows it.
That's the problem, my dear. It's so much pressure. It took me 4 years to convince everyone to agree to give the fairy tale creature celebration another chance. Oh, I should have never yelled at them. That was so un-Santa-like of me.
It wasn't your fault, dear. If they hadn't been roughhousing, they wouldn't have made such a mess. The reindeer wouldn't have gotten loose, and they wouldn't have gotten into your workshop.
All those toys got ruined. Louis and the other elves worked so hard on them, and they had to go into overtime just to get them fixed by Christmas. Do you know what overtime is like for an elf? They only sleep 2 hours a night as it is. Oh, and they knocked the tree over and broke the star I gave you for our 200th Christmas anniversary. But I'm Santa. If I can't keep a holly jolly spirit, then how can I expect others to as well?
The important thing is, everyone agreed to come this year. What happened is in the past, and this will be our holly jolliest party yet.
You're so good to me, Mrs. Claus. I can always count on you to raise my Christmas spirit. Do you have the guest list?
I have it right here. We have the reindeer and elves, of course. The Sandman said he'd be here as soon as he finished the Western time zone. Frosty can't make it. There was a heat wave in Florida. The Tooth Fairy might be late. She always has such trouble getting through security. They always try and do a cavity search. Jack Frost and the Winter Enchantress are on their way right now.
Has the tank arrived for the mermaid?
It's being installed as we speak. Let's see. The Easter Bunny, Dracula.
Oh, Dracula is coming. Did
We
we...
made sure to not serve steak this year. Mother Nature and Father Time just pulled up as well.
Oh, good. Father Time is usually so busy. Anyone else?
Fairy Godmother, Mr. Cringe, Little Cindy Lou Woo, and the Yeti.
Oh, I do hope he behaves himself this year. He always likes to be the center of attention.
I know, dear, but you were very clear with him that he had to be on his best behavior. Oh, that must be our guest. Are you ready, honey?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Come on, who's my bowl full of jelly?
I am.
Then give us a good ol' ho ho ho, and let's get this party going.
Ho, ho, ho! Welcome, everyone!
Well, it's so nice to see you
So
guys.
good to see
I'm
you.
so glad that I'm
Did
able
you
to
have a
see
good
everybody.
trip?
Wow,
Love the
was great.
rings.
Wonderful job.
Oh, excuse me. I hope I didn't make you spill your drink.
Watch where you're going, Mother Nature. What are you trying to do, drown me?
Mr. Cringe,
Yes, Lindy Lou.
we talked about this. Manners and politeness cost nothing.
If I got nothing, then I must make it easy to return.
Mr. Cringe.
Exchange? What'll I get for sheet? Fine. Apology accepted. No harm done. No need to get the insurance involved or anything. Even though I might have a whiplash or broken elbow or something.
Why, you're Mr. Cringe, aren't you?
I take it my reputation, like my stunning good looks, precedes me.
No, I saw it on your name tag. This is the first one of these parties I've been able to come to. I'm usually so busy year-round, but Santa was so persistent this time, so I had a little word with Father Time, and he arranged for an extra hour in a day so I could come.
Isn't someone going to notice an extra hour?
No, he said he'll sneak it in with the next daylight savings time. Nobody ever understands that thing anyway.
Jack! Jack! It's me, the Sandman. Don't you recognize me?
Oh, hi. No, I didn't. You look different than I remember you.
I look however the kids dream I look, so it's constantly changing. It makes it really hard to get a driver license photo.
Well, it's good to see you.
Wait, I just wanted to say I was sorry for what happened at the last party. I never should have dared you to climb the Christmas tree.
It's fine.
No, it's not. I know breaking that Christmas star was the icing on the cake, and Santa has some harsh words for you.
I'm the king of winter. People curse my name all the time. It's okay, though, because as soon as I make the first snow day, I'm a hero to the kiddies.
I just want to make sure there was no hard feeling.
None at all.
Blah! Excuse me. Do you know if there's any more fruit punch?
I think Lewis just went to get some more.
Lewis? He's Santa's head elf. He's in charge of all the arrangements for the party. I'll see if I can find him. Thank you both so much. Blah.
If he thinks he's saying bleh now, wait until he tastes the punch.
Excuse me, Lewis.
Yes?
Do you have any more punch? I'm literally dying of thirst.
I have some right here. Here you go.
Ah, thank you so much.
Oh dear.
How embarrassing. I hope I didn't ruin your dress.
Dracula, my friend, are you okay? Is there something wrong with the punch?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to create such a commotion. I just wasn't expecting peppermint punch.
Oh dear. I'm so sorry. I know it's a little unorthodox, but it's Mrs. Claus's special recipe, and I didn't have the heart to tell her no. You get used to it after a while. Louis, would you bring the Count some paper towels, please? And some water?
Thank you so much. I finished my last bag of O negative before I arrived, and I'm just so thirsty. What? What did I say? It was only Cloud's blood. I'm on a diet.
No, it's not that. I think he's dead.
Father Time? Dead?
I guess his days were numbered after all.
That's not very nice, Mr. Cringe.
What happened?
Are you sure he's dead?
How did it happen?
I don't know. I was paying attention to the count. Didn't somebody see?
I was focused on the count.
Me too.
Me too.
Me 3.
Oh, well, sucks to be him. Anyone want to see a trick? Put him on my knee. I'll do a wicked ventriloquist act.
Oh,
How despicable.
Mr. Cringe, you're being quite callous, I must admit. Can't you see that everyone wants you to quit?
What? Just because she's dead doesn't mean we shouldn't try to include him in the fun? Discrimination isn't like you, kid. I must say, I'm disappointed.
It was Mr. Cringe.
It must have been. Nobody else could be capable of such an act.
Uh-oh. Come on, kid. Stand up for me. Be my alibi. No? Wait a minute. Now, let's not be hasty.
toss him out.
Roar! Throw him out on his Brumble Nugs.
Not my Brumble Nugs! Kid, what's your Brumble Nug?
Banish him.
Yes, banish him forever.
Okay. I think we're all getting a little too excited here. Let's all just sit down and talk this over before someone does something hasty.
Wait! Don't hurt anyone. Put him down.
Well, tell that to Father Time.
Father Time never did anything to hurt him.
He's a danger to all of us.
Ooh, put me down. Watch my Brumble Nugs.
You can't just banish him without proof.
Now that is enough. Put him down. As the child says, you have no proof.
But he grumbled Father Time.
He ruined your party, Santa. Don't you want justice?
He's the only one who would do such a thing.
Oh, is he? He's the only one who has ever been naughty. Yeti, didn't you steal Louis's serving platter at the last party? And Jack, you broke the lovely Christmas star from the tree topper. And you, Sandman. And you, Tooth Fairy. You got into a sand fight at the last party. We couldn't wake up the Winter Enchantress for days.
I just thought the platter would make such a nice sled.
You see, most of us have done something wrong. We don't even know what happened to Father Time.
Oh, why can't my parties ever go well?
We're sorry, Santa.
We may have overreacted.
Mr. Cringe should be given the chance to prove he's innocent.
The kid's got a point.
She's right. We should put him down.
Now you're talking sense. Innocent until proven guilty, as I always say. I'm okay.
So what happened to him?
I can't tell. There's not a mark on him.
I've got it! What you need is a detective. Allow me to introduce myself. Grinch is the name, detecting is the game. My card...
This is a birthday card.
Of course it is. What do you think I am, made of money? I'll find your killer for you, clear my name in the process, and collect the reward.
There's no reward.
There's no reward. Alright, I'll take the case pro bono, but I'm gonna need my parking validated, and that's non-negotiable.
Why are we listening to his nonsense? He obviously did it.
He deserves a chance to prove his innocence. Mr. Cringe, you have 1 hour to find the murderer. After that, well, let's all hope we don't have to find out.
You heard the lady. I need to take statements from all of you. Get your alibis, motives, etc.
I will not be interrogated by the likes of him.
Me
neither.
That's why you come to see Santa? To be questioned by a willy gunk like him?
Please, my friends.
Just give him a chance.
Wait. They're right. We came here for a party and I won't allow Mr. Cringe to spoil my good time. What do you say, my dear?
Very well, but I won't promise I'll answer to any of that creature's questions.
Take notes, Lindy Lou Who. When the Enchantress is suspect numero uno.
Yes, let's all have a good time. Louis, start the music. See if Comet has finished setting up the reindeer games. Ho, ho, ho!
So, Mr. Cringe, what's the plan?
Yes, Mr. Cringe. How do you propose we get to the bottom of this?
Well, we need to investigate. Motive, means, and opportunity. Well, I got nothing. What about you, kid?
Well, I suppose there was the last party. Everyone was fighting with everyone by the end of the night.
That's a good point. All right, Big Red. Whose bad side did Father Time get on?
Well, I suppose the mermaid wasn't very happy with him. And neither were Jack Frost and the Sandman.
And don't forget Mrs. Claus. Remember how upset she was when Father Time wouldn't use his magic to take her back before the party was ruined? Oh, sorry, Santa.
Oh, it's alright. She was pretty upset.
Well, it looks like 3 of our culprits are out having a little chat. It'd be rude to interrupt. All right, you talked me into it. Hey, you 3!
Oh goodness, this isn't gonna be jolly at all.
Oh, it's you. What can we do for you?
Big Red here tells me you're all upset with Father Time. Is that true?
Not me. I had nothing against him.
That's not true.
What do you mean?
I hear you two talking at the last party. You were trying to convince him to make time move slower.
That was nothing more than a business disagreement.
A business disagreement that led him to ask me not to invite you this year.
I was just asking for time to be slowed down a little so I would have to constantly be racing from house to house. You know, Santa, I have to do it 24/7. I'm lucky I could arrange for a few hours of global insomnia so I could be here. Anyway, I might have gotten a little aggressive with my request, but that's nothing compared to what she did.
Me?
Don't act so innocent. I know all about how you were threatening him, demanding that he should keep you young and beautiful forever.
And why not? The mermaids in Neverland never age. Why should I?
Something's fishy around here. And I don't just mean the gal with the finch. What could you possibly have to threaten Father Time with?
Well, I may have told him I'll tell the fairy godmother that he's the reason her spells only last until midnight.
Why would he do that to her?
You would have to ask her.
And what about you, Frosty?
It's Jack Frost, actually. And I haven't seen Father Time since the last party.
Yes, and I remember things got physical between you two. If I remember rightly, it's what started the whole brawl in the first place.
I was trying to get him to fix the Christmas star that I broke. I hated upsetting Mrs. Claus like that, and sorry again for my foolishness. I never should have allowed myself to get talked into showing off and climbing that tree. Has Mrs. Claus forgiven me?
Yes, I think so. She's not one to hold a grudge.
I'd hate to think I was on her bad side. And besides, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cringe, but wasn't it you that broke that poor man's watch at the last party? Yes, I remember. You asked him if he'd ever seen time fly, and you threw his watch out the window.
A classic joke, if I say so myself.
Didn't he say you'd regret that? As mad as he was at you, I can understand why you'd be afraid of him. He was probably one of the most powerful people here.
You think I was afraid of him? That little guy? You kidding me? Do you see these muscles? These ain't toothpicks, sister. I could have squashed him like a bug.
Mr. Cringe.
If I wanted to, which I didn't. Want to wrestle?
That brings up a good point, though. How exactly did he die?
That's a good point. I didn't see a scratch on him.
Only one thing could kill someone as powerful as Father Time and not leave a mark.
Batman?
No, it's, let me whisper it to you.
Fairy dust? Oh, sorry. Fairy dust?
He's right, Mr. Cringe. Fairy dust is powerful stuff. I even used it one year when Louis couldn't get my sleigh ready in time for Christmas Eve.
Means!
Means what? What does he means?
The three of you had motive, but not the means. They couldn't kill him if they wanted to. You can't leave your tank. Sandy here puts people to sleep. And Frosty here isn't much more than a glorified icicle. In order to find our killer, we have to determine who actually could kill Father Time. Quick, Big Red! Who here would have access to fairy dust?
Well, the Tooth Fairy for one, and Fairy Godmother. Oh, and Louis.
Louis?
My head elf. He probably has some from a few years ago. I don't know where he got it, but he seemed to have a good supply.
I see. Lindy Lou, round up the culprits for questioning. We're getting close. I can smell it.
Actually, that's you, Mr. Cringe. Might I recommend a bath?
I have enchanting musk. Okay, you three. Nobody leave town. Now where's that Lindy Lou Who gone?
She's over there.
The enchantress doesn't look happy. Oh, ho, ho, no.
Later, losers. Except for you. Call me sometime. We'll go out for sushi.
Well, I've never.
Can't you believe Santa is letting him behave that way?
I suppose he knows what he's doing. If you'll excuse me, I need to go and check something.
The Cringe would like to ask you all some questions.
Well, we happen to be in the middle of a conversation. This is supposed to be a party after all.
What seems to be the problem here?
This child is trying to interrupt our conversation.
I was just trying to...
You were being a pest.
Now. There's no need for that kind of talk. Lindy Luhu is trying to help us find the killer.
You have the killer. It's the cringe.
Did someone call? I admit it, you missed me.
Certainly not. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go find that husband of mine.
Lovely woman. I sure hope she doesn't fall into a chasm on her way home. What? I said I hope she doesn't fall into a chasm.
Anyways.
Where are you on the night of August 11th?
What does that have to do with anything?
Watch. A guy can't be curious.
Please, Mr. Cringe. I'll handle this one, okay?
Gotcha. Time for a little good cop, bad cop. Ha, go get him, Tiger.
Miss Tooth Fairy, Miss Fairy Godmother, is it true that your fairy dust is one of the only things powerful enough to even hurt Father Time?
Well, I don't know, dearie. It probably could. Fairy dust is very powerful stuff.
You're ugly and you smell funny.
Mr. Cringe.
What? It's bad cop. It's how you get results.
I am very sorry. Why don't the two of us go and talk to Mr. Lewis while you talk to the ladies, Lindy? Right this way, Mr. Cringe.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I'm sorry about that. He means well.
Oh, it's all right, dearie. Us fairy folk have heard a mean thing or two in our day.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but someone told us that Father Time might have had something to do with your spells not lasting after midnight. Do you know why he might have done such a thing?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. Father Time was such a fusspot. He didn't approve of all the magics we do. He felt it was important that one person never have too much power.
So, you were mad at him?
Certainly not. Even if that was the case, he was perfectly within his rights to do so. He was Father Time. Time was, his domain. He was one of the most powerful people here.
Why do you ask, little one?
We think Father Time might have been killed by fairy dust.
That's just not possible, little one. Fairy dust is very strictly controlled by us fairy folk. Like you say, it's just too powerful for simply anyone to have. Why, the two of us are practically the only ones here who would have it.
And Lewis.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Santa said he got some from Lewis, his head elf, a few years ago, when his sleigh wouldn't fly.
Did he now?
Come quick, something's happened to Jack Frost.
Where are we going, Easter Bunny?
In here.
What room is this, Santa?
This is where I keep my naughty list.
I was looking for the bathroom, and I found him like this.
Rainbows and dimples. Is he dead?
What happened to him?
Let me see. I don't understand.
What's the matter, Sandman?
My husband, my poor misunderstood Jack. Is he dead too?
No. He's asleep. By my magic.
You did this to him?
No. Someone must have taken some of my sand. That's the only explanation.
Everyone, turn at your pockets at once.
Come on now, come on. Like the lady said, turn out those pockets. It ain't hard. Just like this. Uh-oh. You know, on second thought, pockets are very private things. Who are we to go through them?
It's okay, Mr. Cringe. If you have nothing to hide, we'll be fine.
Still, I'd prefer not.
Mr. Cringe, don't you see you can prove you're innocent?
I don't wanna.
It's true, Mr. Cringe. The culprit must have had some of Sandman's sand. Go ahead and turn out your pockets.
Look, Thatch Man, I don't gotta do nothing without a warrant. You hear me?
He's hiding something.
Turn him upside down.
Mr. Cringe, please.
Nope, not gonna do it. You can't make me.
Mrs. Godmother, if you would.
Certainly, dear.
What? This is crazy! I want a lawyer! This is circumstantial evidence! I'm okay.
Sand?
Oh, Mr. Cringe.
Well, come on. You know what it's like. You've been everywhere and you've been to the beach. Sand gets you everywhere, and I do mean everywhere.
So you've been to the beach recently?
No.
That's not sand. That's fairy dust. It can be used just like my sand can to put someone to sleep. Get him!
Wait! Now, you gave me 1 hour to prove my innocence. I still have time left. Now, how would the kiddies feel if they found out that Santa was a liar,
He's right. No, he is. Santa made a promise, and Santa always keeps his word.
No, this green made very
Please, everyone.
unbelievable.
Go back and enjoy what's left of the party. I promise you I'll deal with it.
If it's okay with you, Santa, I like to stay and keep an eye on Jack until he's awake. I'm very protective of my sleep magics, you know.
Of course. Do you know how long it will be?
Impossible to tell. It depends on how much sleep sand he was hit with.
What do you think he was doing here?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of was that he must have been trying to get a look at the naughty list.
Why would he want to do that?
How does the naughty list work, Mrs. Claus?
Whenever someone's bad deeds outweigh their good, their names get added to the list.
So, the list knows when someone's been naughty?
That's right, child.
Then that must be it. Jack Frost was trying to see if anyone at the party's names had been recently added to the naughty list.
What a clever fella.
Has anyone's name been recently added?
Oh dear, the last page. It's been torn out.
The culprit must have had hidden it somewhere. Otherwise, it would have turned up when everyone emptied their pockets.
Come on, dear, let's get back to the party. That Cringe still might find the killer after all.
Assuming he isn't the killer.
Mr. Cringe? Mr. Cringe? Where are you? Mr. Cringe?
Shh!
Mr. Cringe! You scared me half to Halloweenville.
Sorry. But look what I see.
That's the Tooth Fairy talking to Mr. Lewis.
Exactly. They don't look too happy with each other, do they?
Not particularly, no.
Now's our chance. The Tooth Fairy just flew off in a huff. Let's go talk to the elf and see what she has to say.
Excuse me. Is there garlic on this pizza?
I'll have to check, sir.
Hey, little guy. Ya miss me?
Not really.
Yeah, it's okay. I grow on ya.
It's just that I'm allergic.
Take a hike, Senior Pointy Teeth. The elf and I need to have a little talk.
But I must eat something.
Here you go. Take the kid. She's got to be good for something.
Mr. Cringe.
Now, don't be rude, Lindy Lou Who. Just do what your Uncle Cringy tells you and go with the nice stranger and help him find a bite to eat.
Yes. A bite would be very good right about now.
Mr. Cringe!
Don't worry, kiddo. Right through there is the kitchen. Let them know you need the special plate we prepared for the count. And don't let him scare you. His bark is worse than his bite.
Good. Now maybe we can talk.
About what?
Oh, you know, the usual. Our hopes, our dreams, boys we like, and of course the fact that you're a murderer.
I'm a what?
Come on, fess up. We saw the Tooth Fairy talking to you. She figured it out, didn't she? She gave you some of her fairy dust, and you used it to kill Captain Clockface. Am I right?
You certainly are not.
Oh. You sure? Because that all sounded pretty good to me.
Someone told her that I used fairy dust on Santa's sleigh a few years ago. She came over and tried to find out who gave it to me, but I wouldn't tell her.
Why not?
An elf's word is their bond, and I promise I'll never tell.
How about a hint?
I'm sorry, but I made a promise to her, and the elf's word is unbreakable.
Really? Because I still think of the killer.
How could I be? I was helping to count his drink when Father Time was attacked.
Opportunity!
What?
Sandman had motive, but not means. You had the means, but not opportunity. The only one who had all three was... the fairy godmother! Means, motive, opportunity. Case closed. I was the fat man.
Are you sure about that? I hardly seen Fairy Godmother killing Father Time.
I can prove it. I just need the tooth fairy to back me up on the fairy dust thing.
She went that way, towards the list room.
On it. Ah, thanks for the grub. Ugh, there's more garlic. Hello? Tooth fairy? Shot man? Where'd you all go? Uh-oh.
This way, everyone. Mr. Cringe went in here. He said he solved
Before you say anything, I know this looks bad.
He killed the Tooth Fairy.
And the Sandman.
And where's Jack? What have you done with him?
I can explain.
Well, Mr. Cringe?
Nope. I got nothing.
That's terrible.
Wait! Okay, you backed me into a corner here. It was the fairy godmother.
How could it be? I've been with Miss Claus since we left this room.
It's true.
Oh, but nobody can alibi you when Father Time died. Ha! Gotcha!
But that's not true. I got punch all over my dress when the count spit out.
It was very good. I'm just not a peppermint person.
It's true. I had forgotten, but she must have been right next to us.
Yes, I remember apologizing to her.
See? You can see the stain right here.
Can I just have a moment with my associate here? You know, to compare notes. Excuse us. This will only take a second. Oh, get over here, Lindy Lou. I don't understand why we did this and that. Okay, we're back. I think I've solved this whole nasty business. It was the kid.
What?
Now, hear me out. Just sit back and relax while I monologue. First of all, nobody saw her when old Father Time kicked the bucket. We're all distracted by Captain Body when he died. So the only two we can be sure didn't have opportunity are Sharktooth over there and the elf. As far as means, well, look at her. She's a kid. A kid which recently lost her baby tooth, which means she probably got a visit from, you guessed it, the Tooth Fairy. Knowing she needed some fairy dust in order to kill Father Time, she pulled her baby tooth, used it to lure the fairy dust to her home, and stole some fairy dust when she wasn't looking. Then little Miss Lindy Lou, who looks too innocent to hurt a fly, had to take out the Tooth Fairy before she remembered visiting her.
But why don't she do it?
Because she's a kid. Without Father Time, she doesn't get any older. She doesn't get any older, she stays a kid. She stays a kid, she keeps getting visits from Santa every year. And what's Lindy Lou Who's favorite time of year? Christmas! Case is solved. Who the man? Right here! Give it up! No? Okay, never mind.
But what about the Sandman? And Jack?
Yes, and what about wobbly sand in your pockets?
She must have taken him out in order to get her name from the naughty list. Yeah.
She was always very close to the Cringe.
Is it possible the child could have put the sand in his pockets?
No, it's not true. Mr. Cringe, you can't believe I'd really do this.
Sorry, sister, but the evidence says otherwise. Take her away, boys. Now, that that's all solved, I think I've earned some time alone to myself. I'll be leaving shortly, but first, the buffet.
Please, you have to listen to me.
Ooh, I'll take some of those, and 3 of these, and a whole bag of those. In fact, I wonder if they'll give me a doggy bag. Screw it. I'll take the whole table.
I believe you wanted to wrestle, Mr. Cringe.
I move the cringe turkey with extra stuffing. Hee-yah!
Very good, Mr. Cringe. But you forgot one thing.
Yeah? And what's that?
I'm the King of Winter. Let's see how well you do frozen in a block of ice.
You wanna go 2 out of 3?
You know, I was hoping to have you take the fall for my crimes, but since you pinned the whole thing on poor Lindy Lou Who, I guess that's just as good.
You killed Father Time?
Yes, you see, after the last party, when everyone was coming to him to fix everything, it became clear that everyone needed a reminder of just who was the most powerful being of all. I admit, I even found myself coming to him for help, but he turned me down. Me, Jack Frost, King of Winter. I asked for help from no one, and then to be refused? I've held on to that anger for years, and finally I had the chance to do something about it.
But how?
I told you. Fairy dust. Stolen from my wife. She may call herself the Winter Enchantress, but there's no escaping that who she truly is the Winter Fairy. Since it's a secret she works so hard to protect, it was easy to steal some of her fairy dust to use on Father Time. That's why I told you about it. Because you'd never be able to track it back to my wife. When I whispered in your ear, I even put a little of it in your pockets.
But you know the naughty list will give you away.
What?
But you know the naughty list will give you away.
I can't understand you.
The naughty list!
Ah, yes, the naughty list. I knew it'd give me away, so I snuck in there to remove the page. This page. But the blasted Easter Bunny caught me in the act. So the only thing to do was to feign sleep. I transformed the fairy dust into sand, but a single drop into my eye. I knew no one would search poor unconscious Jack for the missing page, or for the fairy dust. That idiot Sandman stayed with me. When I woke up, I had to dispose of him. And then that bore of a tooth fairy figured out that my wife must have given Louis the fairy dust he used for Santa, so she had to go too.
So, what does this have to do with me?
You're going to disappear, Mr. Cringe. Eventually they'll figure out little Lindy Lou Who doesn't have the missing page, and they'll come looking for you. But nobody will ever find you. And as long as you can't be found, everyone will believe it was you.
Except for one thing.
We already know.
My dear.
How could you? I understand the lying and the backstabbing, but stealing from your own wife?
It's not what it looks like. I caught Mr. Cringe. He was trying to escape.
Nice try, Mr. Frost, but you've fallen into Mr. Cringe's trap.
I have.
He has?
Mr. Cringe knew I couldn't be the killer, so he cleverly blamed it on the one person he knew he could trust. Once everyone was focused on me, the real killer would have had to take care of him to avoid further investigation. So Mr. Cringe cleverly came out of here alone to lure you into the open.
You put yourself in danger just to expose the killer?
Darn right, Sweet Finch.
He knew you must have put the fairy dust in his pockets, and from there was able to figure out where you got it. Motive, means, and opportunity. Right, Mr. Cringe?
You got it.
But she...
It wasn't hard to clear Lindy Lou. You see, the nice list was still intact. All I had to do was check to see if her name was still on it.
It's not my fault. All I wanted to do was fix Mrs. C's Christmas star, but he wouldn't even do that. Don't you see? I'm the victim here. You all should be thanking me. Think of how much control he had over us.
Rudolph, take him away!
Enchantress, my dear. You forgive me, don't you?
Oh, I don't know, Jackie Poo. I think one of us will be getting the cold shoulder for a few decades or so.
Well, that's that.
What about Father Time and the Tooth Fairy and poor Mr. Sandman?
What Jack didn't realize...
What Jack didn't realize, dear, is that the nature of magic is indestructible.
You mean they'll be okay?
With the sun rising on a new day, time will go on, children will wake and sleep, and teeth shall be gathered.
So it all worked out.
It all worked out indeed.
But the party was ruined again. Nobody will ever want to come to one of my holly jolly parties ever again.
I don't know about that, Santa. This was more exciting than any Christmas game I've ever played.
Me too.
Me too.
Aw, you mean it? You'll come back again next year?
Can we have another murder mystery? This was glink-a-dink exciting.
Yeah, totally agree. Absolutely, 100%.
Very well. It will be our new tradition. Each year we'll have a holly jolly mystery.
Hooray!
Now, let's finish off this party right. Ho, ho, ho!
Everyone? Hey, it's still frozen here. Still frozen. Hello? This isn't funny. Hey! Hey! Can someone at least put nachos in my mouth?